Welcome live to Holt Fieldhouse here on the campus of Carson-Newman University as we're ready to roll for another South Atlantic Conference matchup. This time, the Eagles take on the Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters. Ryan Wilkes with you right here on the Eagles Sports Network. Thank you for joining me on a wonderful Saturday. Beautiful weather out here at Mossy Creek, and we're ready to roll for another matchup in the South Atlantic Conference. These two teams faced off earlier this season. Carson-Newman with a 3-2 victory at Lincoln Memorial for their first SAC win since then. Have gotten 4 more 5-2 in the SAC are Carson-Newman so far this year. A big win last night against Mars Hill. Very competitive 4-set victory for the Eagles over the Mars Hill Lions. And now today they'll see Lincoln Memorial for the second time this season. So getting ready to roll here from Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman looking to get its 4th home win in as many tries. 3-0 at home so far this season. The Eagles will roll with Blair Cherry, Skylar Weaver, Julia Wheeler, Taylor Adams, Emma Grace Cobb, Taylor Kieran, and at libero, Trinity Hafey. For Lincoln Memorial, it's Kendall Wellen, Sierra Lemons, Lauren Pickett, Agata Bogdanska, Kristen Mooring, Katura Margaret, and Olivia Snyder. Pickett will serve for Lincoln Memorial to kick this one off. First set underway here from Holt. Big swing by Adams goes off the hands of Welling, and a kill for Taylor Adams to get it going today. 1-0 your score. McKenna Hall checks in for Skylar Weaver. She'll go back to serve. Big night last night for Carson-Newman via the serve. 12 service aces overall for this team. 7 came from Taylor Adams. Talked to Coach Ashley Tiernan about that after the game, as this one is bumped over by Lincoln Memorial off the top of the net. Now Kieran, big swing, puts it down. Back-to-back kills for Carson-Newman to start off today's action, and it's 2-0. All will serve once again for Carson-Newman. Good start for the Eagles here in the first set, taking the first 2 points as All tees it up. Set up in that big swing for Bogdanska, and this one's going to go off the hands of Carson-Newman. A kill for Agata Bogdanska. First point of the day for Lincoln Memorial, and they're on the board.
All right, Eagles, get the serve back.
Kristen Mooring going back to serve for the Rail Splitters. Very competitive 5 sets between these two teams just a couple weeks ago. As Sherry sets up far side, Adams, big swing. Right to the hands of a Rail Splitter. Point for Carson-Newman. Taylor Adams' second kill so far this afternoon. That one was a rocket off the hand of Taylor Adams. It looked like it got Olivia Snyder in the face there, as Adams will now go back to serve. 3-1 Carson-Newman with the early advantage. Lemmings tees it up for Bogdanska, tips it over, but out of play. Point Carson-Newman. Lincoln Memorial was hoping that maybe that one was tipped, but no call. Point for the Eagles. It's now 4-1. Adams serves again for the Eagles, and this one will go far. Point for Lincoln Memorial. So far, Carson-Newman 3 kills and 3 attacks. Solid job so far by the Eagles, as Bogdanska will go back to serve for Lincoln Memorial. 4-2 the score in the early going. As Bogdanska sends this one far. Back-to-back service aces, one for each side. Service errors, as that's a point for the Eagles. Now 5-2 as Bennett McCombs checks in. New sub in for Lincoln Memorial. It's Katura Margaret checking in. As McCombs serves for the Eagles. Set up, big swing near the net by Mooring. Hafey able to keep it alive. Now Wheeler will have to get it over. She does. As it's set up at the net. And Lemons, Welling will put it down. Point for Lincoln Memorial. That deflected off the hands of Hafey. Good effort to try and get to the free ball. Nonetheless, it falls. 5-3 the score now. As Margaret will serve for Lincoln Memorial. Nice serve as Hafey able to get it over and then put down at the net by Kendall Welling. All initiated by the great serve. Tough play there for Trinity Hafey. Then easy work for Welling at the net to make it 5-4. Lincoln Memorial on a bit of a run here. 2-0 run as Margaret with an awkward serve there. Cherry sets it up for Wheeler. Wellen able to keep it alive. Now right back to Wellen. She's blocked. Lincoln Memorial, good job to get it over. Now dumped by Blair Cherry. Point for Carson-Newman. Cherry last night, too, was just so effective at the net, mixing up the sets and the attacks. That time able to dump it in for a point to make it 6-4. Julia Wheeler back to serve for Carson-Newman. Double-double for her last night. 19 kills, 16 digs as this one goes to Lincoln Memorial off the big swing from Kendall Wellen. As Lincoln Memorial strikes back. Third kill for Wellen and 4 attacks. Megan Meyer checks into the game for Wellen, getting a much-deserved breather here early in the first set. 6-5, Carson-Newman with the early advantage. As Meyer serves, Cherry sets it up and over the outstretched hand of Emma Grace Cobb. That's an error for Carson-Newman. Point Lincoln Memorial. We're all tied up at 6. Meyer back to serve once again for the Rail Splitters. First tie of tonight's action. As Cherry sets it up, Cobb, big swing, puts it down. Point Eagles. Emma Grace Cobb, 8 kills last night. Caught up with her after the game, and she'll check out. Taylor Adams back in. Really nice night for Cobb near the net. Puts one down right there to put Carson-Newman back on top 7-6. Afey with the serve. Set up near side. Big swing by number 5, Sierra Lemons, but it's out of play. Point for the Eagles. Well in there, just a little bit too ambitious with that attack. Push it past the back line as Afey goes back to serve. Set up far side, blocked at the net and down. Point Carson-Newman. Blair Cherry and Skylar Weaver, first block on the afternoon for the Eagles. Carson-Newman back up by 3. Afey will serve once again. 3-0 run for the Eagles to get back in front by 3. Big swing there by Kristen Mooring. Point Lincoln Memorial. Great set there at the net. Nice elevation by Mooring on the swing, and she puts it down. Lemons checks out, Bogdanska back in. It'll be Snyder back to serve. Afey, nice reception there. Sent near side. Adams puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Taylor Adams' third kill in as many attacks. Yeah, she's picking up right where she left off last night. McCombs out. Taylor Kieran back in. Blair Cherry back to serve for Carson-Newman. 10-7 your score here in the first set. Carson-Newman looking for another big sack victory this evening. As it's set up far side, put down but out of play. Point Carson-Newman. Good attempt there by Mooring on the far side. Tried to place it right on the near sideline in front of the Eagles bench, but couldn't quite get to the sideline. Cherry serves again. This one put far out of play. A service error for Carson-Newman. Point for Lincoln Memorial. EC checks out. Checking in is Lauren Pickett, and she'll serve. 11-8 the score. Tightly contested first set. As Afey receives the serve, Cherry sets up far side. Weaver with a big swing. Nice block at the net. Now Bogdanska's blocked. Far side. It's Mooring. Now Cherry sets up for Adams. She pokes it over and just wide. Pass the near sideline. Point for Lincoln Memorial. First attacking error for Taylor Adams so far today. She was perfect in her first 3 attacks. That time pushes it just wide. That's Lincoln Memorial within 2. Cherry sets up for Kieran, but she pushes it far. Just past the back line. The Eagles arguing there, thinking it might have gotten a piece of the back line. But nonetheless, point for the Rail Splitters. Lincoln Memorial back within 1, 11-10 the score. Still fairly early here in this first set. As this one goes off the hands of Adams, a service ace for Lauren Pickett, the first of the day for either side. And we're all tied up at 11. It's been Carson-Newman's strength so far, especially here at home, but that time, Lincoln Memorial giving them a taste of their own medicine. As Cherry able to get it towards Wheeler, she'll dump it over. Now at the net, for Kieran and Weaver. Easy work for them. They found themselves right near the net and put it down for the point. Hall back into serve. Weaver checks out as Carson-Newman retakes the lead, 12-11. As I mentioned, 5 sets last time between these two teams. Carson-Newman comes out on top, 3-2 victory. A tightly contested 5th set as well, 15-13. The Eagles took that one. As Pickett sets it up, big swing by Moran, kept alive. Now Bogdanska gets it over. Hafey near side Wheeler. And she finds some space on that far sideline. The rail splitter's a little out of position there. And Julia Wheeler able to find that open hardwood on the far sideline. Point for Carson-Newman. First kill of the day for Julia Wheeler, had 19 last night. Huge night for her, a double-double as Hall will serve again. This time pushes it past the back line. Another service error for Carson-Newman, and we're tied up at 13. She made 13-12. Carson-Newman still on top. Kristen Mooring back to serve once again for Lincoln Memorial. 13-12, Carson-Newman out in front. As this one is far, and an attacking error or service error for Lincoln Memorial. So 5 service errors here in the first set, 3 for Carson-Newman, 2 for Lincoln Memorial. As the Eagles hold the 2-point advantage, Taylor Adams will serve. This one's set up near the net for Wellen. Nice dig by Cherry. Adams now to Wheeler, and it's blocked by Bogdanska. Point Lincoln Memorial. She waves her fingers, says that's not going to fly today, and she puts it down. Snyder checks out. Pickett back in. As Bogdanska will serve. This one pushed far yet again. Service error for Lincoln Memorial. That's kind of been the story here in this first set for both sides. As Bogdanska checks out, McCombs back in for Carson-Newman. Kieran will exit. 15-13 the score. 3 service errors apiece for both Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial. As McCombs tees it up, this one near the net. Wheeler pokes it over, but Lincoln Memorial, nice recovery to keep it alive. And now Wheeler once again kept alive here. And it will be Margaret who goes into the net and point for Carson-Newman. 16-13 now as McCombs will go back to serve once again. Back and forth we go here in the first set. Mentioned last time. Very tightly contested match between these two teams. Looks like we got another good one today. As it's set up far side, Wellen puts it down past the outstretched arms of McKenna Hall. A kill for Kendall Wellen, her 4th of the day. Amanda Lisi checks back in. As I believe that'll be Wellen that checks out. Pickett checks out. As Margaret back to serve for LMU, and this one pushed far yet again. Another service error for the rail splitters. As the serve goes right back to Carson-Newman. Skylar Weaver checks back in. McKenna Hall checks out. Julia Wheeler serves for the Eagles. Margaret receives a serve. Lisi sets it up far side. Wellen, she's blocked by Cherry and Cobb. Point for Carson-Newman. Second block of the match for the Eagles here in the first set. As that upper net presence has been a big factor for Carson-Newman so far this season. Lucy sets it up near side. Now Cherry dumps it over. Good recovery by Snyder. Now big swing by Margaret. Blocked but out of play as Katora Margaret gets the kill. That block attempt just goes wide past the far sideline. As now Megan Meyer will check in. Kendall Wellen checks out. Meyer goes back to serve. 18-15 your score. Carson-Newman 7 points away from a first set victory here on a Saturday at Mossy Creek. Cherry sets it up. Weaver puts it down, but just past the back line. Crowd did not like that one, but did look like it went a little far. Point for Lincoln Memorial. Quite a few errors here in the first set. 4 service errors for Lincoln Memorial, 5 attacking errors. As Wheeler able to get it over. AC sets it up. Margaret. McCombs with the bump, goes right back to the other side. Now put down by Lemons. Point for Lincoln Memorial. The Rail Splitters back within one. It's 18-17. So far, Carson-Newman's been effective in its attacks. 16 attacks, 8 kills for a .375 hitting percentage. But now Lincoln Memorial on a 3-0 scoring run. As Meyer serves yet again. Cherry sets it up. Cobb, she's blocked, and it's down point for Lincoln Memorial. It looked like that was Lemons and Mooring with the point. We're all tied up at 18. Coach Ashley Tiernan needs a timeout. We'll take a break right with them. Be back on the other side right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, all tied up at 18 here in the first set. Lincoln Memorial on a 4-0 scoring run to tie this one up. Carson-Newman needed a timeout. Yesterday, Carson-Newman very good out of the timeout when it was called by head coach Ashley Tiernan, but Mike Smith used the timeouts effectively yesterday and forced Carson-Newman into a couple mistakes. As Meyer serves, Cherry sets it up near side Weaver. Nice dig by the Rail Splitters. Big swing now by Mooring. Touches the net and goes under. A point for Lincoln Memorial, and they have the lead. Lincoln Memorial's played from behind most of this first set, but now they're out in front. As Meyer sends it over. Cherry sets up. Cobb. Now Margaret keeps it alive. Far side Mooring. And she'll put it down past the hands of Trinity Hayfie. Point Rail Splitters. 6 straight points for Lincoln Memorial. Now a 2-point advantage. Leading 20-18. Meyer tees it up. Cherry sets up Weaver. She's blocked, but kept alive by Weaver. Nice job to recover. Now Wheeler will get it over. AC sets up Mooring, and she puts it down. Point Lincoln Memorial. What a run here by the Rail Splitters to take a 3-point lead after trailing by 4. 7 consecutive points by Megan Meyer. It looked like for a second there Madison Fisher was going to check in for the first time. And this time Meyer pushes it past the back line. Another service error. And now Carson-Newman gets the serve back, trailing by 2, with Trinity Hayfie going back to serve for the Eagles. Playing from behind, really for the first time in this first set. Lacey sets it up. Big swing by Lemons. Now Cherry to Wheeler, and she pushes it past the back line. Point Lincoln Memorial. Actually, they're going to say that was tipped off the hands of a Rail Splitter. Point Carson-Newman. Couldn't tell whether or not that one was tipped, but according to the officials, it was. So 21-20 the score now. Hayfie will serve again. AC sets it up. Margaret. Now Cherry sets up Adams. She's blocked, kept alive by Wheeler and the Eagles. So now Hayfie will have to dump over the free ball. Lacey to Lemons, and she just pushes it in the net. Point Carson-Newman. Bit of an awkward position there for Sierra Lemons. Tried to tip it over the net, couldn't quite get it there. And now we're all tied up at 21. Timeout, Lincoln Memorial. 21 all here in the first set. It's been back and forth. Lincoln Memorial took the lead moments ago, but now Carson-Newman battling back. We'll be right back here on the other side, right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, all tied up at 21 apiece. Carson-Newman will have the serve. As I mentioned previously, this was a very tightly contested first match between these two sides, and looks like we have another one here tonight. Hafey will serve for Carson-Newman. Lacey sets it up, big swing by Mooring, kept alive by Carson-Newman. Wheeler pushes it down the far near sideline and in play. A kill for Julia Wheeler, point Carson-Newman. 22-21 the score. Carson-Newman takes the lead back. Hafey tees it up for the Eagles. Lacey sets it up near the net for Lennon. She's blocked. Lacey right back to Mooring, and she puts it down. Point Rail Splitters. Back and forth we go, all tied up at 22 now, as Lincoln Memorial will get the serve back. It'll be Olivia Snyder to serve. Cherry to Adams, and she puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Fourth kill for Taylor Adams. She leads the team. As McCombs checks out, Kieran back in. Kristen Mooring leads all scorers so far with 5 kills. Kendall Wellen with 4. As it looks like Lincoln Memorial will need another timeout. 23-22, Carson-Newman here in set number 1. We'll be right back on the other side on the Eagle Sports Network. Back here in Mossy Creek, Carson-Newman with a 1-point advantage here on the Eagle Sports Network. 23-22 the score. As Lincoln Memorial playing from behind once again. Carson-Newman 2 points away from a first set victory to try and get out in front early. Blair Cherry serves for Carson-Newman. Mooring, now to Lacey. Meyer gets it over. Cherry far side Weaver. Now Lacey back to Mooring. Big swing. Hafey with the dig. As Cherry sends it to Adams and she puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Chest bump for Trinity Hafey, who initiated that point. Nice dig to keep it alive. And now Carson-Newman ready to tee up the set point. Much deserved appreciation there for Trinity Hafey. Basically, it took away a Lincoln Memorial kill, kept it alive for her teammate Taylor Adams. As Maggie Sanderson checks in. Blair Cherry tees up set point. Lacey to Mooring far side. Big swing, she pushes it far. Point Carson-Newman, and the first set goes to the Eagles, 25-22. Carson-Newman takes the 1-set lead into set number 2 on the other side here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Holt Fieldhouse here at Carson-Newman University. Beautiful Saturday outside. Saw some fans tailgating here pregame before coming into Holt for another exciting SAC volleyball matchup here on the Eagle Sports Network. Ryan Wilch with you, as I have been for every single home game. We'll continue to be with you all season long as Carson-Newman takes the 1-0 set lead. Had to fight off a little run there from Lincoln Memorial. The Rail Splitters did take the lead at one point, but Carson-Newman able to fight back. Really momentum change there near the end. It was 23-22. And then Trinity Hafey with a huge dig. She had 4 digs there in the first set. Kept it alive for Carson-Newman. The kill by Taylor Adams to make it 24-22. And then an attacking error by Lincoln Memorial gave the Eagles that first set by a score of 25-22. Clean slate here in set number 2. Blair Cherry will tee it up for Carson-Newman. As Mooring keeps it alive. Now Mooring once again. Hafey sets it up, Adams. She's blocked. Point Lincoln Memorial. Looked like Amanda Mooring there at the net. As Kendall Wellen will check back in. Mooring goes back to serve. Hafey receives. Cherry near side Weaver. Tips off the front blockers. And now it's carried by Lincoln Memorial. Point for the Eagles. 1-1 your score as McKenna Hall checks back in. She'll serve. Hall with the serve for Carson-Newman. Goes off the hands of Olivia Snyder. A service ace for Carson-Newman and McKenna Hall, first of the match. Had 12 last night, gets their first here in the second set. It's all ready to serve once more. 2-1 your score here in the second set. Carson-Newman leads 1-0. As that was Margaret far side. Big swing. I believe she was blocked. Point Carson-Newman. Couldn't tell if that was a block or an attacking error. Nonetheless, the point goes to the Eagles. Carson-Newman on a 3-0 scoring run here to start the second set. Leading 3-1. As this one is bumped over. Easy work for Taylor Kieran. At the top of the net, puts it down. Point Eagles. 4-0 scoring run now for Carson-Newman after the kill by Taylor Kieran. As Amanda Lisi checks back in. Checking out is Lauren Pickett. All serve once again for the Eagles. Lacey sets it up. Big swing by Maggie Sanderson. I believe that's a point for Lincoln Memorial. She put it down on the back line. Sierra Lemons checks back in. Olivia Snyder back to serve. 4-2 the score early in set 2. As Hall receives a serve, Cherry sets it up. Wheeler is blocked. Point Lincoln Memorial. Katura Margaret on the far side, able to get a piece of that one to make it 4-3. Snyder back to serve again for Lincoln Memorial. Carson-Newman still holds the 1-point lead. As Cherry sets it up, Kieran big swing, good dig by Mooring to keep it alive. Now Mooring will have to get it over. Cherry with the dump, good awareness by Lincoln Memorial initially, and a bit of a miscommunication on the ball, and that's a point for Carson-Newman. I believe they'll give the kill to Blair Cherry right there on the dump. Taylor Adams, who was so effective with the serve last night, back to serve again. As it goes off the hands of Mooring, Snyder keeps it alive. Now it'll be Wellen to get it over. Cherry sets it up. Kieran awkwardly gets it over the net. Now Lisi far side. Margaret pushes it well far and out of play. Point Eagles. Attacking errors have been here early and often this afternoon. 9 attacking errors for Lincoln Memorial, 5 for Carson-Newman. Lacey sets it up far side. Margaret, nice dig by Hall. It goes over. As Lacey sets it up, Welland, she pokes it over. Now Hall, far side Wheeler. Lacey sets it up for Welland. Nice dig by Hall to keep it alive. Now Wheeler. Long point developing between these two as Margaret able to poke it over and down. Point Lincoln Memorial. Strategic from Couture and Margaret on that far side of the net. She's able to find the open space and get it down. Talked to Coach Ashley Tiernan last night about some of these longer points. Carson-Newman seemed to be on the winning side of a lot of those points. Talked about the Eagles' mentality in approaching those long points. Says Taylor Kieran will put it down. Point Eagles. Tipped off the hands of a rail splitter and out of play. As Kieran checks out, McCombs back in. She'll go back to serve. 7-4 your score. Carson-Newman out in front by 3 here early in set 2. McCombs with the serve. Margaret receives. Lacey sets it up. Welland is blocked. Kept alive for a moment by Snyder, but a point for Carson-Newman. Block at the net. I believe that was Blair Cherry on the near side. And Lincoln Memorial needs a timeout. Carson-Newman leads 8-4 early here in set number 2. We'll be right back here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Eagles volleyball here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman out in front by 4 out of the Lincoln Memorial timeout. Bennett McCombs will serve for Carson-Newman. Early lead for the Eagles, leading 1-0 here on a Saturday afternoon in Mossy Creek. McCombs with the serve. Lucy near the net, she'll dump it over. McCombs keeps alive, now Hafey with a nice dig. Wheeler big swing, nice dig by Snyder. And now Snyder will just bump it over. Cherry to Wheeler. Block attempt, but it's down. Point for Carson-Newman. Julia Wheeler, 4 kills on the afternoon. Second on the team so far. Taylor Adams leads the team with 5. Pretty even scoring across the board through just over a set. As McCombs with the serve. Lacey sets it up. Far side. As now it's Welland. Cherry sets it up for Wheeler once again. Snyder with the dig. As Lacey to Welland. Puts it down, but out of bounds. Point for Carson-Newman. 10-4 the lead now for the Eagles. Still early in the second set. Carson-Newman looking to pull away a little bit here. Again, that first match went to 5 sets. A 15-13 set 5 victory for Carson-Newman to move to 1-0 in the sack as that serve goes far and out of play. Point for Lincoln Memorial. So after a 4-0 scoring run, Lincoln Memorial will get the serve back. It'll be Megan Meyer that goes back for the Rail Splitters. Meyer with the serve. Hafey receives. Wheeler keeps a line. Now a free ball. McCombs will get it over. Lacey sends it to Moore. She puts it down past the outstretched arms of Trinity Hafey. Point for Lincoln Memorial. So the Rail Splitters looking to go on a run of their own right here, as they did in the first set, to get back into it and eventually take the lead late before Carson-Newman put away that first set. This goes to Wheeler. We see near side Mooring puts it down on the back line. A kill for Kristen Mooring and a point for Lincoln Memorial. 10-8 the score now as the Rail Splitters draw closer. 3 straight points for Lincoln Memorial. As Hall keeps alive for the time being on the serve by Meyer, but it goes out of play off the hands of McKenna Hall. Service ace for the Rail Splitters and another point to make it a 1-point set. 10-9 the score now. Sherry sets it up. Cobb, big swing, puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Much needed there. Achieving the score now 11-8. As Hall checks out. Wheeler will serve once again for Carson-Newman. Lacey sets up. Lemons at the net, tipped around a couple times. Point Carson-Newman on the violation by Lincoln Memorial, but Skylar Weaver a little shaken up on the hardwood. She tries to walk this one off. Looks like Weaver will have to check out here in the second set. She comes over to the sideline. It'll be Molly Langford to check in. Hopefully Skylar Weaver is all right as she's getting help from a couple of teammates over to get a look on the sideline. So Molly Langford checks in for the first time this afternoon. Carson-Newman with a 12-8 lead. Julia Wheeler will go back to serve for the Eagles. A little bit of a stoppage here. We're back ready to go. 12-8 the score as Wheeler will go back to serve for Carson-Newman. Set up at the net by Lacey. Big swing by Mooring, kept alive. Now live at the net. Eagles going to have to get it over here. It's Wheeler. Lacey now to Mooring. Nice dig by McCombs. Far side Adams. And she pokes it far on the far sideline. Point Lincoln Memorial. Maggie Sanderson checks back in. Checking in for the first time, Katie Cardenas. As Carson-Newman has a 3-point lead, 12-9 here in the second set. It'll be Cardenas back to serve.
Let's get the serve back.
This one right into the net, point Carson-Newman. 6th service error of the afternoon for the Rail Splitters. That's Trinity Hafey back to serve. Checking back in is Sierra Lemons. Carson-Newman looking for its 6th sack of victory so far this season, with the move to 4-0 at home. There's Mooring on the near side. Now Cherry at the net with Mooring, and she wins that battle, puts it down for Lincoln Memorial point. LMU so far this year, 7-8, 1-4 in the sack. That one win coming earlier this season. As Cherry sets it up far side Adams. She's blocked. Now Langford pushes out of play. Point Lincoln Memorial. It'll be Lacey serving again for the Rail Splitters. Similar to the first set, Lincoln Memorial fell behind for a little while and started getting on a little run. Going to do so again in set number 2. Lacey with the serve. Wheeler receives. Cherry sets up far side Adams. Nice dig by Snyder. Now Lacey towards Meyer. Goes off the hands of McCombs. Cherry keeps it alive in the scorer's table. And then McCombs goes after it. Can't quite get to it. Point Lincoln Memorial. Good effort there by the Eagles. And Blair Cherry and Bennett McCombs just couldn't quite get to it. As Lacey will serve. That one past the back line and out of play. Service error for Lincoln Memorial. Point Carson-Newman. McCombs will check out. Kieran back in for the Eagles. Cherry will serve. Lacey sets it up far side. Mooring, big swing off the hands of Hafey. Wheeler keeps it alive. Now Adams just kind of tries to put it over her head, but it falls on the Carson-Newman side. Point Lincoln Memorial. Kendall Wellen will check back in. 14-13 your score. Carson-Newman still out in front. Mooring will serve. This one on the back line. Service ace for Kristen Mooring. Point Lincoln Memorial. Now a timeout for Carson-Newman. We're all tied up at 14 here at Holt Fieldhouse. We'll be right back on the other side right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, 14 all here in the second set. As Lincoln Memorial has once again gone on a little bit of a run to get back into the second set. As Mooring will serve once again for Lincoln Memorial out of the timeout. Adams receives, Cherry sets up near side. Langford puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. They're going to call a violation on the Eagles there. Looked like Langford knew right away after the swing. The point will go to Lincoln Memorial, 15-14. Rail Splitters out in front. Cherry sets it up. Kieran pushes it far past the back line. Point LMU. A 4-0 scoring run to take the lead, 16-14. Similar run that happened in the first set, although Lincoln Memorial took the lead in the 20s. This time they lead 16-14. As Cherry sets up Wheeler. Snyder to Lacey. Now Sanderson at the net puts it down. Point LMU. 3-point lead now for Lincoln Memorial, looking to even the set score up at 1. As Mooring will serve. Wheeler receives. Good job to keep that one in play. Now Adams far side. Puts it down off the hands of Margaret and Sanderson. Much needed point for Carson-Newman to break a 5-0 Lincoln Memorial scoring run. Langford checks out. All back in. Carson-Newman trails by 2, 17-15 here in the second set. All with the serve for the Eagles. Lacey near side. Wellen puts it down. Point LMU. Big swing from Wellen right near the net. And she scores. Snyder back to serve. Checking back in is Sierra Lemons. That's Lincoln Memorial with a 3-point lead. Cherry sets up far side. Wheeler off the hands there of Wellen, kept alive. Mooring back to Wellen. Cherry to Kieran, pokes it over and finds the near sideline. Point Carson-Newman. Strategic placement there by Taylor Kieran to make it a 2-point advantage for Lincoln Memorial. 18-16 the score. Taylor Adams back to serve. Quick break to wipe up some moisture on the floor. Another tightly contested second set here between these two teams. As Taylor Adams will serve. This one down in front of Olivia Snyder. Service eighth for Taylor Adams. Point Carson-Newman. Had 7 last night, gets her first tonight. to make it 18-17. Lincoln Memorial still out in front, but Adams will serve again. Welland sets up for Snyder, but a violation called on LMU. Point Carson-Newman. 18-18 the score. The Eagles draw back even with LMU here in the second set. Carson-Newman looking to push that set advantage to 2. LMU looking to get even at 1-all. Lacey bumps it towards Welland. Cherry far side Wheeler. She puts it down right in front of the diving hands of Kendall Welland. Another strategic placement there by Julia Wheeler, who gets the kill and gives the Eagles the lead back. 5th kill for Julia Wheeler. It's Carson-Newman now on a 4-0 scoring run to retake the lead. Adams with the serve, goes off the hands of Snyder. Morin goes after it, but it's down. Another service ace for Taylor Adams. 20-18 now the score. 6 straight points for Carson-Newman as Megan Meyer checks back in. Taylor Adams with the serve for the Eagles, 5 points away from winning the second set. As that time Adams just puts it into the top of the net, a service error. As she'll now check out, Hafey back in. As LMU draws within 1. Still a nice job by Taylor Adams right there, and you see her right after the mistake. Still comes off with a smile, and she'll be ready to go next time she comes in for Carson-Newman. Cherry sets it up for Wheeler, and she puts it down. A kill for Julia Wheeler. Point Carson-Newman. McCombs checks back in. Kieran will check out. Julia Wheeler mixes up the speeds on her attacks there, and now LMU needs a timeout, trailing by 2. 21-19. We'll be right back here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman with a 2-point lead, 21-19 here in the second set on the Eagle Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes with you, taking you through all of this evening's action between the Eagles and the Rail Splitters, as Bennett McCombs will serve for Carson-Newman. Snyder receives. Lacey sets up near side Meyer. Now far side Wheeler. That's tipped at the net. Point Carson-Newman and kill Julia Wheeler to make it 22-19. 3 straight kills for Julia Wheeler. She's starting to catch fire here in the second set. 7 kills now, leading all scorers. As it goes off the top of the net, was served by McCombs. As now it's Morin. Cherry dumps it over, and it goes down a little bit awkwardly off the top of the net. Nonetheless, point Carson-Newman. Blair Cherry so dangerous there at the front of the net, mixing up the sets and the dumps. As Carson-Newman leads by 4, 23-19. McCombs will serve. Bumped by Lacey, now to Meyer. Tipped around to the net, Cherry keeps it alive. Now Wheeler will have to get it over. Lacey at the net, blocked by Cobb, and then Meyer puts it into the net. Point Carson-Newman. Set point upcoming for Bennett McCombs and the Carson-Newman Eagles. 24-19 the score. McCombs ready to tee up. Set point. Here's his serve. DC sets up far side. Margaret puts it into the net. Point Carson-Newman. Set Carson-Newman, and the Eagles lead in sets 2-0. The Eagles have to stave off another run by the Rail Splitters right there in the second set, but they do so once again. As the Eagles now lead 2-0. We'll be right back on the other side here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman leads 2-0 in sets as we enter set number 3 right here on the Eagles Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes with you this afternoon as Carson-Newman takes that second set 25-19. Going to have to stave off a good run from LMU, who took the lead there in the second set, as they did in the first. But 18-15 before Carson-Newman had a little run there near the end to eventually take that one. Carson-Newman looking to sweep this afternoon to move to 4-0 at home this season, and 6-2 in the sack. Also get to 500 overall this season, sitting at 7-8 right now. More importantly, that sack record 5-2. 3 of those sack wins coming at home. As we'll get ready to roll here in the third set. And Alisi will go back to serve for Lincoln Memorial. And she'll send the serve over. Cherry sets up far side. Skylar Weaver checks back in and puts it down for the kill. Carson-Newman leads 1-0. Good to see Skylar Weaver back on her feet in the game. As McKenna Hall checks in for her, she'll go back to serve. Didn't look good at the time of the injury, but it seems like she recovered all right. Good news for the Eagles, getting Weaver back. As Hall will serve. Mooring keeps it alive. Lucy now towards Snyder, who rolls it over. Cherry sets up Wheeler. Big swing, puts it down on the far sideline. Point Carson-Newman. Julia Wheeler now with 8 kills on the afternoon. 2-0 Eagles lead. McKenna Hall with the serve. Now set up near side Mooring. A dig by Cherry. Now Hall towards the net. It's a Wheeler. Lacey sets up far side Margaret. She puts it in the net. Point Carson-Newman. Now the Eagles lead 3-0. Hall goes back to serve once again for Carson-Newman. She'll send this one far and out of play. Point Lincoln Memorial. A service error for Carson-Newman. They're 6th of the match. As it'll be Katie Cardenas checking back in for Megan Meyer, who checks out. Mooring serves for LMU. Cherry sets up near side Wheeler. Big swing, point Carson-Newman. Tipped off the hands of Katura Margaret on the block attempt. But Wheeler overpowers the 2 middle blockers for Lincoln Memorial. Taylor Adams back to serve. 4-1 Eagles lead here in set number 3. Adams with the serve. Lacey sets it up far side. It's Cardenas who pushes it far and out of play. Point Eagles. 5-1 your score now. We saw a couple weeks ago against Emory and Henry, Carson-Newman kind of battled in the first 2 sets. Then in the third, they were able to pull away. We'll see if they're able to do so once again today, as Adams gets the service ace off the hands of Olivia Snyder. Point Carson-Newman. 4th service ace of the afternoon. Hasn't been as much of a factor as it has been as of late, but nonetheless, Carson-Newman still able to get the job done today so far. As Adams will serve again, puts this one into the net. Point Lincoln Memorial. Checking back in is Sierra Lemons. Going back to serve is Olivia Snyder. Talk a lot about Taylor Adams' energy and coachability out there on the court. Checks out, immediately goes to Coach Ashley Tiernan. As Wheeler keeps this one alive, Cherry will roll it over. Lacey sets up near side. Lemons blocked to the net, but scored nonetheless off the hands of the middle blockers. Point LMU. Going back to Taylor Adams, she had that service error, then goes right to the bench. Gets some advice from her head coach, Ashley Tiernan. Very attentive. Very impressed by Taylor Adams so far this season. As Cherry sets it up far side. Kieran, she's blocked. Point LMU. Nice block there at the net. The 6th block of the afternoon for Lincoln Memorial. Snyder will serve once again. 6-4. Carson-Newman still with the lead, and that time out of play off the serve from Olivia Snyder. Service error for LMU. Point Carson-Newman. Kieran checks out. McCombs back in. McCombs goes back to serve for Carson-Newman. 7-4 your score early here in the third set. Carson-Newman leads 2-0. Lisi sets it up. Near side, Margaret awkwardly has to push it over. As now it's played to Cobb. Lisi far side, Cardenas blocked at the net, kept alive by Cherry. Now Wheeler. Lisi to Cardenas. She's blocked. Tipped around. Now all the way back near the back line. Nice job by Mooring to get it over. Cherry to Wheeler. Big swing. She's blocked. Point LMU off the block by Margaret. I believe Sanderson right there at the net shooting. That was Sierra Lemons. Another block for LMU, the 7th of the match. As Katora Margaret goes back to serve. 7-5 your score. Carson-Newman still out in front. 25-22 first set score. 25-19 second set. And now 7-5 here in the third. As Cobb pokes it over. Nice job by LMU. And Cardenas to keep it alive. As Cherry plays it to Wheeler. Cardenas with the dig. Now Margaret far side. Cardenas again. That time awkward jump. Goes off the palm and into the net. Point Carson-Newman. Here comes Skylar Weaver back into the match. Hall checks out. Julia Wheeler back to serve. 8-5 your score. Carson-Newman leads by 3. Looking for the sweep this afternoon. As Lisi sets it up for Cardenas, big swing, puts it down that time. No error for Katie Cardenas. And she scores to make it 8-6. Cardenas checks out, Meyer back in. She'll go back to serve. As always, after every game, catch up with Coach Ashley Tiernan. A couple Carson-Newman volleyball players. Check those out on YouTube and Twitter as Cobb with a big swing. Kept alive by LMU, Mooring far side. Now Hayfie to Weaver. Lisi sets it up. Big swing at the net, but a block by Cherry and Cobb. Point Carson-Newman. It was Mooring the far side with the big swing, but Cherry and Cobb combined for the block. 4th block of the match for Carson-Newman. And the Eagles lead 9-6. Hayfie with the serve. Lisi with the dump. Nice job by Hayfie once again with the dig. Now Wheeler, big swing. A dig by Meyer. Now Margaret. Hayfie again. What an impact Trinity Hayfie has had on this game as Taylor Adams puts it down past Katora Margaret. Point Carson-Newman. Trinity Hayfie has been very impressive in this game this afternoon. I believe now 10 digs on the afternoon. As it's 10-6 Carson-Newman, Hayfie with the serve. Lisi sets it up far side. Mooring puts it down. Point LMU. Kristen Mooring, she's left unattended there far side. She usually puts it down for the kill. As she has 9 on the afternoon. 10-7, Carson-Newman still out in front. As it'll be Lemons to serve. This one goes far. Julia Wheeler looks to her teammate. She almost went for that one, but eventually let it fly out of play. As McCombs checks out, Kieran back in. Carson-Newman with the 11-7 lead in the third set. Here's Blair Cherry with the serve. Goes off the arm of Katora Margaret and right in front of the LMU bench. Service ace and point for Carson-Newman. Again, playing a bit of a role here this afternoon. 5th service ace of the afternoon as Cherry tees it up again. Meyer keeps it alive near the back line. Now rolled over by Snyder. Cherry sets it up far side. Weaver pokes it over. Lisi keeps it alive. Now Snyder to Mooring. She's blocked for the time being. Kept alive. Now Hayfie will have to try and get it over. She was Adams with the swing, and it goes far. Point LMU. Lisi back to serve for Lincoln Memorial. Now off the hands of Adams and out of play. Service ace from Andalisi. Point LMU. 12-9 your score here in the third set. Carson-Newman still out in front by 3. As Andalisi back to serve. Cherry sets it up for Adams. Rolls it over. Now Alisi back to Margaret. Nice dig again by Hafey, but Mooring puts it down at the front of the net. Point LMU. 9th kill of the afternoon for Kristen Mooring. Tying Julia Wheeler atop the score sheet. 9 kills for Wheeler. Again, Julia Wheeler had that double-double last night. As Cherry sets it up. And it's Taylor Kieran right of the net, puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. McKenna Hall checks back in. Skylar Weaver checks out. As Hall will go back to serve. (13-10) your score. Carson-Newman in front. As Hall sends a serve over. Lisi far side. Now Margaret puts it down in front of McKenna Hall. Point LMU. Katoro Margaret's 3rd kill so far this afternoon. As Cardenas checks back in, Meyer goes to the bench. Mooring back to serve. Cherry sets it up far side Adams. Violation called on LMU, point Carson-Newman. Cobb checks back in, Hafey checks out. 14-11 now, Carson-Newman out in front. Adams back to serve. Here's a serve from Taylor Adams. Lisi near the net, sets it up for Sanderson. She puts it down. Point LMU. Checking back in is Sierra Lemons as Sanderson exits. 14-12 the score. Carson-Newman looking to close this one out for a 3-0 sweep, but LMU not making it easy as this one goes off the hands of McKenna Hall. Service ace by Snyder, point LMU. LMU within 1, 14-13. All these sets have been competitive. Carson-Newman has just done a good job coming out on the winning side of things. As this one pushed past the back line, a service error for Olivia Snyder, point Carson-Newman. Kieran checks back out, McCombs back in, she'll go back to serve. 15-13 the score now. As McCombs readies, here's the serve. Lacey sets it up near side Margaret. Nice dig by the Eagles, kept alive here by LMU. Now Margaret, big swing, puts it down in front of McCombs. Point LMU. Lincoln Memorial has played from behind most of this third set, but they're within 1. As Katura Margaret will go back to serve.
Serve back, Eagles!
This one goes far and out of play. Nice job by Hafey to duck out of the way of that one. That's another service error for Lincoln Memorial. That's now 11 on the afternoon. As Hall checks out, Weaver back in for Carson-Newman. Again, good to see Skylar Weaver back in action after that injury in the second set. Lacey sets it up. Now Lemons off the hands of Wheeler. McCombs goes after it, can't quite get there. Point Lincoln Memorial. So far, LMU's been able to get this set within a point. It hasn't been able to get over that hump. Carson-Newman has done a good job kind of staving them off here in the third set as Megan Meyer will go back to serve. 16-15 the score in set number 3. Wheeler bumps near the net, and that goes off the hands of Julia Wheeler. It's Kristen Mooring with another kill, and now we're all tied up at 16. So Lincoln Memorial draws even. At 16 as Megan Meyer will serve again. Cherry sets it up near side Weaver. She rolls it over. Margaret with the dig near the net now. Cobb keeps it alive. Now it's Weaver. He pokes it over. Margaret again with a great dig. Now kind of a scramble of rail splitters as it's Emma Grace Cobb. Snyder keeps it alive. Now Cherry near the net, goes off the hands of Cobb. Point LMU. Good job by Lincoln Memorial to scramble, get back in position, and eventually win that point.
Hit the ball, Eagles!
As it's now 17-16, Lincoln Memorial. Saw last night against Mars Hill some of those longer points. Carson-Newman coming out on the winning side of most of them. But tonight, a little bit different. Lincoln Memorial's won some of these longer points, but Carson-Newman able to keep the right mentality and able to come out on top in the first two sets. As Meyer with his serve. Cherry sets it up near side. Weaver, big swing. Deflected at the net. Now Lisi sets it far side. Mooring puts it down. Kill for LMU. And now the Rail Splitters lead by 2, 18-16. And Ashley Tiernan needs a timeout. LMU looking to keep this one alive with a set 3 victory. They lead 18-16. We'll be back on the other side here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman trails set number 3, 18-16 here on the Eagle Sports Network as Megan Meyer goes back to serve. LMU trails 2-0, but so far here in the third set leads this one, but now Skylar Weaver puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Big response there from Skylar Weaver, giving a serve back to Trinity Hafey. And Carson-Newman as Emma Grace Cobb checks out, Taylor Adams back in. As Hafey now serves, 18-17 the score, LMU still out in front. Lacey far side, Mooring, big swing, puts it down near the back line. Point Lincoln Memorial. 12 kills for Kristen Mooring. She's got a double-double, 12 kills, 10 digs on the afternoon. Here's a serve from LMU. It's Sydney Lay who just checked in. Tipped around near the net. Now Hafey towards Adams. Big swing from Adams. Nice dig by Meyer. Lay now far side Mooring. Wheeler towards Adams. She'll just bump over the free ball. Now Lisi over towards Mooring. Off the hands of Hafey. Point LMU. 20-17 the score now. As Lincoln Memorial 5 points away from keeping this match alive. Lay back to serve once again for Lincoln Memorial. Brief break for Julia Wheeler to tie her shoe down there. (20-17), LMU out in front by 3. Lay back to serve. That one will go far past the back line. Point Carson-Newman. 12th service error so far for LMU. As Lemons checks back in, checking out his Lay. Here's a serve from Blair Cherry. 20-18 to score. Carson-Newman trails. Far side Mooring, kept alive by Adams. Cherry now sets. Taylor Adams pokes it over and scores off the hand of Amanda Lisi. Carson-Newman back within 1. Eagles have had to fight back here in the later parts of these sets, and eventually came out on top. 20-19 the score. Carson-Newman trails by 1. As Cherry tees up the serve. Lacey sets near side. Mooring pokes it over and scores. Shouldn't be a violation on Mooring. She ran into the net there. So point Carson-Newman. All tied up at 20. The crowd comes alive a little bit here at Holt Fieldhouse. It's both teams 5 points away from a set 3 win. Cherry with the serve. Snyder towards the net. Blocked around and scored by Carson-Newman to make it 21-20. Timeout, Lincoln Memorial. The Eagles retake the lead, 21-20, 4 points away from the sweep here at home, right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman retakes the lead 21-20 on a 4-0 scoring run after trailing 20-17. As Blair Cherry serves once again for Carson-Newman out of the timeout. Lacey sets it up. Mooring, she's blocked. But a point for LMU. I believe those two ran into the net right there. As we're all tied up at 21. Kristen Mooring with 14 kills tonight. Here's a serve from Lacey. Goes off the hands of Wheeler. And out of play, a service ace for LMU to make it 22-21. Lacey back to serve. Wheeler sets it up. Adams pushes it far. Point LMU. Now a timeout for Carson-Newman. LMU leads 23-21 here in the third set, right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman trails LMU here in set 3, 23-21. LMU looking to get in the set column with a win here to keep this match alive as Lacey with the serve. Cherry sets it up. Kieran blocked at the net, kept alive by Adams. Cherry now far side Weaver. She's blocked. As now Cherry sets it to Wheeler. Kept alive there by Mooring. Nice dig. Now Snyder gets it over. Cherry sets it up near side Adams. Big swing. Lacey sets it up for Margaret. And an attacking error by Couture Margaret. Point Carson-Newman. The Eagles get the serve back, trailing by 1, 23-22. It'll be McKenna Hall back to serve. Big Big point up coming right here. Carson-Newman can tie it up. LMU can push it to set point. As Hall back for the serve. Off the hands of Meyer. Now Margaret near the net. Pushes it over. Cherry sets it up near side Wheeler. Big swing. She's blocked by Mooring and Sanderson. Point LMU. Cardenas checks back in for Meyer. And it'll be Mooring to serve to try and push this to 4 sets. 24-22 the score. Here's the set point from Mooring. Cherry, far side, sets up for Kieran. She pushes it on the far sideline. Point Carson-Newman, the kill by Taylor Kieran. 24 all here in the third set. Taylor Adams back to serve for Carson-Newman. But before that, a timeout by LMU with this one all tied up at 24 right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Holt Fieldhouse Eagles volleyball here on the Eagles Sports Network. On the other side, I noted that it was 24 all. It was actually 24-23. So still a set point for Lincoln Memorial. Taylor Adams with a chance to keep it alive for Carson-Newman. Lacey far side. It's Cardenas. She's blocked. Tipped around to the net. Scored Lincoln Memorial. And the set goes to LMU 25-23. And Lincoln Memorial lives to see another set here at Holt Fieldhouse. It's now 2-1 in favor of Carson-Newman. We'll be back with set number 4 on the other side right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Holt Fieldhouse for the fourth set of tonight's action. Carson-Newman leads 2-1 over Lincoln Memorial, but the third set goes to LMU by a score of 25-23. It's Carson-Newman coming back out to try and secure this victory. LMU looking to push it to a fifth set as they did in the first match between these two teams. Blair Cherry will go back to serve for Carson-Newman to start off the fourth set. As Cherry serves. Lacey now towards Margaret. Big swing, she puts it down. Point LMU. 1-0 Lincoln Memorial with the lead here in the fourth set. As Mooring will go back to serve. What a game it's been for Kristen Mooring so far. But this time, a service error puts it into the net. Point Carson-Newman. Looking Hall checks in for Skylar Weaver. She'll go back to serve. One to one the score early here in the fourth set. As Hall serves, goes off the hands of Margaret. Now Snyder gets it over. Cherry sets it up. Kieran, she's blocked. Point LMU. It's Sanderson with the solo block at the net. And LMU retakes the lead 2-1. Sanderson checks out. Lemon's back in. As Hall receives a serve. Cherry far side Wheeler. Now Lacey towards Lemons. Cherry sets it up. Adams. The violation of Carson-Newman. Point LMU. 3-1 Lincoln Memorial with the early lead through the first 4 points of this fourth set. As Snyder goes back to serve. Havey receives. Cherry sets it up far side Wheeler. Mooring keeps it alive. Nice dig. Now Lacey towards the net from Meyer. Big swing. Puts it down in front of McKenna Hall. Point Lincoln Memorial. 4-1 the lead here in the fourth set for LMU.
Let's go Eagles!
Here's a serve from Snyder. Cherry now to Wheeler. Big swing. Puts it down on the far sideline. The tip at the net by LMU. Point Carson-Newman. 4-2 now. Carson-Newman gets the serve back. It's Taylor Adams that will go back for the Eagles. 4-2 deficit for Carson-Newman early here in the fourth set. As Adams tees up the serve. That one goes far as Mooring holds off on it. Service error for Taylor Adams. Point LMU. Katura Margaret back to serve. Here's a serve from Margaret. Cherry now to Wheeler. Big swing. Tipped at the net and scored by Julia Wheeler. Now 5-3. 11 kills for Julia Wheeler, 5 digs. As Kieran checks out, McComb's back in for Carson-Newman. Eagles trail by 2, 5-3. As here's a serve from Bennett McCombs. Lacey sets it up far side Lemons. Cherry now to Wheeler. Lacey back to Meyer. Hall with a nice dig. Now Cobb far side Wheeler. Big swing off the hands of the middle blockers. Point Carson-Newman. 12 kill for Julia Wheeler. 5-4 the score now. Carson-Newman within 1. A little bit of a stoppage here. Katura Margaret tying her shoe on the back row. Back ready to go. Bennett McCombs will serve for Carson-Newman. Lacey now near side Meyer. Big swing. McCombs with the bump. Now back to the LMU side. Bumped over by Snyder. Set up now Cobb. Off the hands of Margaret. Now Meyer. Hafey with the dig. Hall keeps it alive for a moment. Over there near the bleachers, not able to keep it in play. Point Lincoln Memorial. 6-4 the score. The Rails players get the serve back. It'll be Megan Meyer back to serve. That tight second set. Well, Carson-Newman won the set by 6, but had to stave off Lincoln Memorial. All important right now is Wheeler with a big swing. Far sideline is out of bounds. Point LMU. Carson-Newman won the first set 25-22, then 25-19 in the second set. All these sets have kind of been toss-ups. 25-23, Lincoln Memorial in the third. As Hafey receives, goes to McCombs, now off the hands of her. Service ace for LMU. Point Rail Splitters 8-4 the score, and Ashley Tiernan needs a timeout. Carson-Newman trails by 4, 8-4 here in the fourth set. We'll be back on the other side here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Eagles trail 8-4 here in set number 4. As LMU looks to push this to 5 sets, Carson-Newman looks to get out with a 3-1 victory. As here's a serve by LMU, set up by Cherry, goes to Cobb. Kept alive by Snyder, now to Mooring. She's blocked. LMU doing a nice job recovering. Margaret with a big swing. Cherry sets it up. Far side Wheeler. She pushes it wide. Point Lincoln Memorial.
Take your time.
9-4 the score. Lincoln Memorial good to start here in the fourth set.
Control.
As here's a serve from Meyer. Cherry sets it up. Cobb. Big swing at the net. Block attempt. No good by Lincoln Memorial. Point Carson-Newman. Hall checks out. Weaver back in. Julia Wheeler will serve. Carson-Newman trails 9-5 in the fourth set. Wheeler tees it up. Margaret receives. Lacey sets up near side. Mooring. Line by Hafey. Now Weaver. Nice dig by Mooring right there. Snyder now back row to Margaret, and she puts it in the net. Point Carson-Newman. Awkward position there for Margaret on the back row. And couldn't get it over. 2 straight points for Carson-Newman and draw within 3. Wheeler will serve once again. Lacey near the net, sets up for Lemons. Nice strategic placement there by Lemons. Puts it down and scores. LMU leads by 4, 10-6. Lemons checks out, lay back in. She'll go back and serve. Knew this one would be competitive coming in. Ashley Tiernan talked about how competitive the last match was. As this one right of the net, dumped over and scored by number 9, Maggie Sanderson, to make it 11-6.
Let's go Eagles!
Here's Lay once again. Cherry sets it up. Cobb, big swing, but into the net. And blocked, I think, by LMU to make it 12-6. Timeout, Carson-Newman. LMU leads 12-6 here in the fourth set, looking to push it to 5 right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman in a hole right now, 12-6 here on the Eagles Sports Network. LMU has taken full advantage of that tight third set victory. They're going to push it to 5 sets. Carson-Newman won the first 2 sets. LMU wins the third. As Lay serves, Cherry sets it up for Cobb. She pokes it over. Nice shot by Sanderson to keep that one alive. Now at the net, Margaret is blocked by Weaver and Cobb. Point Carson-Newman. The Eagles get the serve back. Trinity Hafey goes back to serve. (12-7) the score. Eagles trail here in the fourth set. Hafey puts this one in the net. A service error. Point LMU. 13-7 the score now. As it'll be Amanda Lisi to serve. Cherry sets up. Weaver, she's blocked. Point LMU. It's Mooring and Sanderson right at the net. Now LMU doubling up Carson-Newman here in the fourth set, 14-7.
Stop hitting it into their block, right in the middle.
Carson-Newman and Ashley Tiernan out of timeouts during the fourth set. So Carson-Newman looking to stave off this LMU run. But Taylor Adams blocked at the net by Margaret and Sanderson again. 15-7 the score. LMU now 11 blocks on the afternoon. Lacey with the serve. Sherry sets up Adams far side. Big swing. Violation on Carson-Newman. Point LMU. A 4-0 scoring run to make it 16-7. Kayla Shotwell will check in for the first time. Taylor Adams out. Bit of a deep hole for Carson-Newman to try and dig out here in the fourth set. Trailing by 9. Lacey with the serve. Hafey receives. Cherry near side. Weaver pokes it over and scores. Big response from Carson-Newman right there, ending that 4-0 scoring run. As McCombs checks out, Kieran back in for Carson-Newman. It'll be Cherry back to serve. Set up at the net by Lisi, but a violation at the net by Sanderson. Point Carson-Newman. So big for Carson-Newman to try and respond with a little run of their own, trailing by 7. As Blair Cherry back to serve again. This one's set up by Lisi. Far side, Mooring off the hands of the middle blockers. And Kieran and Shotwell. Point LMU. 17-9 the score here in the fourth set. Here's a serve from Mooring. Cherry now near side Weaver. Good dig there by Lisi, kept alive by Mooring. Now Kieran, big swing into the hands of Sanderson. Point Carson-Newman. Taylor Kieran with a huge swing. Carson-Newman now within 7. McKenna Hall will serve for the Eagles. Still quite a hole to dig out of in this fourth set. Trailing by 7, 17-10. Here's a serve from McKenna Hall. Lisi sets up near side Meyer. This one pushed far and out of play. Actually off the hands of the middle blockers for Carson-Newman. Point LMU. That one looks like it was tipped by Shotwell, maybe at the net. Snyder will serve. 18-10 now to score. LMU has came out with energy here in this fourth set and taken advantage so far as Cherry sets up for Wheeler. Far side, nice dig by Meyer. Now it's, I believe that was far side Margaret. That one was pushed out of play, no tip. LMU was arguing for that, but point Carson-Newman. 18-11 the score. Kayla Shotwell will serve. Lacey sets up for Mooring. Big swing, but pushed wide out of play. Point Carson-Newman. So the Eagles looking for a run here late in the fourth set. LMU 7 points away from pushing this to the fifth set. Still time left for Carson-Newman to make a run. As Shotwell serves. This one goes off the hands of a couple rail splitters and a point for Carson-Newman. Service ace for Kayla Shotwell, and LMU needs a timeout. 18-13, Lincoln Memorial still leads, but Carson-Newman fighting back. 3 straight points to get within 5. We'll be right back here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman volleyball here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman trails by 5, but a 3-0 scoring run. A service ace by Kayla Shotwell sending us into timeout. As Shotwell puts that one into the net. Service error. Point Lincoln Memorial. Shotwell will check out. Hafey back in. Carson-Newman yesterday struggled out of the timeout. Now today those struggles continue. As now Katura Margaret will serve. Cherry sets up Cobb. Pushed over. Margaret keeps it alive. Now Meyer pushes it far and out of play. Point Carson-Newman. Actually, they're going to say that was tipped. Point for LMU. Called by the back judge there, and it was tipped at the net. Big point for Lincoln Memorial, 5 points away from a set 4 win. Here's Margaret again. This one into the net, point Carson-Newman. Eagles still alive here in this 4th set. Kieran checks out, McCombs back in. So go back to serve. Will have to be quite the comeback for Carson-Newman to avoid pushing this one to 5 sets. Trailing by 6, 20-15. McCombs with the serve. Reese sets up. Mooring. Nice dig by McCombs, kept alive at the net by Carson-Newman. Now Wheeler blocked, tipped around. Now Wheeler will just have to get it over. Reese sets up Lemons. It's tipped at the net off the block. Now Snyder able to get it over. Now Cobb. Reese sets up Meyer. A dig by Hall. Far side Wheeler. Mooring on the back row. Cherry sets up Cobb, but it drops. Point LMU. Some miscommunication there between Cherry and Cobb. And now LMU 4 points away from pushing this to the 5th set. LMU looking for 2 consecutive set wins after Carson-Newman jumped out to a 2-0 start. As Cherry sets up far side Wheeler. We see now the Lemons. Kept alive by Hafey. Wheeler gets it over. Far sideline, but out of bounds. Point LMU. 22-14 the score. Lincoln Memorial using all the momentum here in the 4th set. They're up by 8. With 3 points left to get to push this to a 15-point set number 5. Here's the serve from Meyer. Cherry sets it up far side Wheeler. Big swing, block attempt at the net, but down. Point Carson-Newman, kill for Julia Wheeler, her 13th on the night. Weaver checks back in for Hall. Julia Wheeler will go back to serve. 22-15 your score. Carson-Newman trails this one by 7. Wheeler with the serve. AC sets it up near side. Mooring puts it down off the hands of Trinity Hafey. Point LMU. 16th kill for Kristen Mooring. As Lay will check in for Lemons, she'll go back to serve. 23-15, LMU 2 points away from pushing this to the 5th set. Cherry now to Hafey, who just bumps it over. Lisi near side, Mooring, big swing block attempt at the net, but scored. And set point up coming for LMU, 24-15. Lay will serve. Cherry sets it up. Cobb, big swing, puts it down on the far sideline and scores. And for the time being, Carson-Newman still alive in the 4th set. Shotwell back in, Trinity Hafey back to serve. 24-16, Carson-Newman looking to stay alive. Here's the serve from Hafey. That one is down off the hands of Meyer. Service ace for Trinity Hafey. And the Eagles draw within 7. Here's a serve from Hafey. Lacey sets up for Mooring. Big swing. Hafey with the dig. Cherry now to Wheeler. Nice dig by Margaret. Now Mooring again. Off the hands of Blair Cherry. And now back row to Julia Wheeler. Big swing from Sanderson. Kept alive by Hafey. Far side Shotwell. A dig by Snyder. And now to Mooring. Cherry to Shotwell. And she pushes it into the net. Point LMU. Set LMU 25-17. 1st to 15 on the other side will decide this match right here on the Eagle Sports Network. These two teams went to 5 sets a couple weeks ago. We'll do so again today here on the Eagle Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes with you for the 5th and decisive set of this SAC matchup between Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial. As Carson-Newman falls in set 4, 25-17. As LMU winners of the last 2 sets. 1st to 15 here in the 5th set. LMU will have the serve to start it off. It'll be Amanda Lisi back to serve. Here's a serve from Lisi. Jerry sets it up. Near side Weaver, she's blocked. Kept alive by Kieran. Far side now Adams. Goes off the hands of the middle blocker and scored. Carson-Newman takes the 1-0 lead in the 5th set. Hall checks in, Weaver checks out. 9th kill for Taylor Adams. As Hall will serve for Carson-Newman. Snyder bumps it towards the net. It's Margaret who gets it over. Now Cherry, far side Wheeler, big swing off the hands of Sanderson and score. Point Carson-Newman, an early 2-0 advantage for the Eagles in this decisive 5th set. Another blocking attempt for LMU. They've had success at the front of the net, 11 blocks to Carson-Newman's 5 so far this evening, but couldn't get one right there. So here's a serve from Hall. Set up by Lisi near the net. Big swing by Mooring. Hall with a great dig. Kept alive by Hafey. Now Wheeler. Lisi near side. Margaret. Another dig by Trinity Hafey. Now far side Wheeler. Off the hands of Snyder and out of bounds. Point Carson-Newman. Trinity Hafey with 2 massive digs on that point. And Carson-Newman leads 3-0. Trinity Hafey, 16 digs so far this evening. There's McKenna Hall with the serve. That one finds the back line and scored. McKenna Hall, service ace, 9th of the afternoon for Carson-Newman. Timeout Lincoln Memorial as Carson-Newman leads the 5th set 4-0. We'll be right back here on the Eagle Sports Network. Welcome back to Eagles Volleyball here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman jumps out to a 4-0 lead here in the 5th set, leading 4-0. McKenna Hall with the service ace right before the timeout. Well, she'll serve again. Lisi sets it up. Sanderson puts it down and scores. Much needed from LMU right there to get on the scoreboard here in the 5th set, making it 4-1 Carson-Newman. It'll be Mooring back to serve. Cherry sets it up, far side. Kieran out of bounds, off the net. Point LMU. Carson-Newman faithful thought that was tipped the net. Looked a little awkward coming off the net there. Nonetheless, point LMU, 4-2 the score. Cherry sets it up, far side. Wheeler, big swing. Nice dig there by Meyer. Now she'll have to get it over. Far side Wheeler. Pokes it over. Meyer able to get down on the knee and keep it in play. Now it's Mooring running into a teammate. Getting it over. Taylor Adams. Snyder now towards Meyer. That one's pushed wide out of play. Point Carson-Newman. 5-2 the score. Eagles out in front. Hafey checks out. It's a much deserved breather. Again, 16 digs on the afternoon from Trinity Hafey. Here's a serve from Taylor Adams. Lisi near side, Meyer, big swing, puts it down on the back line, point LMU. Sierra Lemons will check back in. Checking out, Maggie Sanderson.
All right, Eagles, get the serve back!
Here's Olivia Snyder to serve. Cherry sets it up far side Wheeler. Lacey now far side Margaret. Leafy towards the net for Kieran. Nice dig by Snyder. Now Lacey towards the net. Margaret will have to get it over. Now it's McKenna Hall, big swing. And now right at the net for Emma Grace Cobb. She puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Emma Grace Cobb found the ball right over the top of the net and able to put it down for the point. Carson-Newman leads 6-3. Here's Bennett McCombs to serve for Carson-Newman. This one off the top of the net. Good job by Mooring. As it's blocked off the swing by Meyer. Now far side Wheeler. Big swing off the hands of Meyer and scored. Julia Wheeler, 16th kill tonight. And Carson-Newman leads 7-3. Carson-Newman trying to fend off 2 straight set victories by Lincoln Memorial to secure its 6th sack win on the season. This one on the back line and scored a service ace for Bennett McCombs. Carson-Newman with another service ace, the 10th on the night. And we'll switch sides here before the rest of the 5th set. Carson-Newman with the 8-3 advantage. We'll keep it right here and talk a little bit about this one. Carson-Newman started it off with a 25-22 first set victory, 25-19 in the second. Goes away the Eagles once again, but back-to-back set wins for Lincoln Memorial. As we'll go right into a timeout. Lincoln Memorial going to burn their second. As it's 8-3 Carson-Newman. We'll be right back on the other side here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman leads this decisive 5th set, 8-3 here on the Eagle Sports Network, as Bennett McCombs will serve again for Carson-Newman. A timeout right after the service ace by McCombs. As Lacey sets up far side Meyer, big swing ball pushes it far. Point Carson-Newman on the attacking error by LMU. It's now a 4-0 scoring run for Carson-Newman. 9-3 Eagles lead. McCombs with the serve once again. Lacey sets up near side Margaret. Nice dig again by Hall. Near side now it's Wheeler. She's blocked but kept alive by Kopp. Near side again Wheeler. Block attempt but scored off the hands of Sanderson. Point Eagles. 10-3 the score. As Carson-Newman getting closer to a 5-set win. As new sub in the game, Kendall Wellen will check back in for Megan Meyer. Combs will serve again, 10-3 the score. We see now to Lemons. Nice dig by McCombs off the roof of Holt Fieldhouse. An awkward bounce off the roof. Point LMU. 10-4 the score now. Lincoln Memorial will get the serve back. It's Katora Margaret who will serve. Eagles lead by 6. Need 5 points to secure this win. Here's a serve from Margaret. Nice reception by Hayfield. Now it's Wheeler off the hands of Sanderson all the way towards the LMU bench. And out of play, point Carson-Newman. Another kill for Julia Wheeler. As it'll be Skylar Weaver to check back in. Carson-Newman up 11-4 here in the 5th set. Wheeler with the serve. Near the net, Lisi pokes it over, dig by McCombs. Now Weaver finds some open space on the Carson-Newman logo. Just poked it over and found some room right in between the middle of the first row. Carson-Newman now leads 12-4. Wheeler will serve again. Carson-Newman getting closer to another sack victory here at home. As Wheeler serves. Lisi near the net, dumps it over and scores past the outstretched arms of Bennett McCombs. Good decision by Amanda Lisi right there to go for the kill, pretty close to the net. As LMU's within 7. Here's the serve from Megan Meyer. Cherry sets it up for Weaver. Big swing, but blocked by Lemons and Lisi. Point LMU. Carson-Newman 3 points away from victory, but LMU, as they've done all day long, not making it easy on Carson-Newman. But that time, a gift of service error by Megan Meyer. Point Carson-Newman. Trinity Hayfie back to serve. Carson-Newman leads 13-6 here in the 5th set. Lacey sets it up far side. Maury, she's blocked off the hands and the leg of Snyder. Point Carson-Newman. A block for Blair Cherry and Skylar Weaver. And it's match point. 14-6 here in the 5th set. Carson-Newman can close it out. Here's the serve from Hayfie. Lacey sets it up far side. Moore, big swing block attempt by Weaver and Cherry again. That time into the net, 14-7 the score. As Lay checks in for Lemons, she'll go back to serve. Still match point for Carson-Newman, but now Lincoln Memorial with the serve. Cherry sets it up far side. Weaver, big swing, puts it down past the hands of Meyer. Points scored, kill for Skylar Weaver. And Carson-Newman fends off Lincoln Memorial. A 15-7 win here in set 5. Carson-Newman wins in sets 3-2. Signing off here from Mossy Creek on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your weekend. Carson-Newman moves to 6-2 in the South Atlantic Conference with the 3-2 win over Lincoln Memorial right here on the Eagle Sports Network.